Hey, YA. We are in Acts chapter 12 today. Chapter 12 starts out with the Apostle James being killed by Herod. And it says that when Herod saw that it pleased the Jews, he determined that he was going to do the same thing to Peter, because the gospel is spreading now. The church is growing, and Herod uses as a threat. So this is around the time of the Feast of Unleavened Bread, around the time of Passover. This might sound kind of familiar to the time that Jesus was arrested. So Herod arrests Peter. He puts him in prison. Now Peter is in prison. It says he's bound with chains. He has a guard on either side of him, and there are guards, squads of 4 guards surrounding each side of his cell. So 12 guards bound with chains and a guard on either side of him. And what it says is that Peter's sleeping. So it seems like Peter is not totally worried about what's going on right now. He is at rest. But it says that the church was earnestly praying for him. And then all of a sudden, this really bright light shines into his prison cell. Does he wake up? No. And so this angel appears. And Peter is so chill and so asleep that the angel actually has to knock him in the side and say, "Get up, get on your cloak." And so it then says that the chains fall off of him, and him and the angel, they leave the prison cell. The gate to the city just opens before them. And when they turn the corner, the angel disappears. And then and only then is when Peter realizes that he's not still sleeping and that God has actually had a jailbreak for him. And so he goes to the house of John Mark. This was probably the same house where they had the Last Supper, and it said that many of the Christians were there praying. So this sweet girl named Rhoda, she hears a knock at the door. She comes to the door, and it's Peter. And she's so stoked. She leaves him there. She doesn't even open the door. She goes back and she tells everybody, and they're like, "No, honey, it's probably just his angel. You're probably seeing things." So he's still literally at the door knocking. And when he comes in, they are all totally amazed. So what I want you to take out of this chapter is that, number one, Peter is arrested, looking like a very similar situation to what Jesus endured. So Peter probably was preparing himself to die, yet he was totally at rest. He was totally trusting God's plan. And the other thing that it said is that when he was imprisoned, the Christians were earnestly praying for him. But when their prayer was answered, they were kind of shocked. Does that ever happen to you when you are totally taken off guard? When God actually answers your prayer exceedingly abundantly beyond anything that you could ask or even think? When he sends in an angel, when the chains break, when the gate opens before you and you get to just walk through a door that you thought was previously closed? Because that's what God did for Peter, and that's what he can do for you. So pray earnest prayers and keep trusting in the Lord and hide it in your heart.